Hey, it's Courtney Barriger, your host of Environmental Style Now, the A to Z podcast on all that is sustainable fashion. Now, this episode of ES Now is going to be a little bit different. To honor an innovative and expansive collaboration spanning art and environmental regeneration from the oceans to the moon, we are having an open conversation today with the leaders of BitBasel Art Gallery, who's sending a micro-engraved solid gold disc of artwork curated by Refi-Tulum onto a rocket ship to the moon, literally. So this is going to be a conversation between the gallery owner, the curator, and some of the artists themselves as we reach to touch the moon and save the oceans simultaneously. Hello, I'm Courtney Barriger, and on this episode of ES Now, today we're excited to present the Ocean SDG 14 collection, focusing on life below water. This collection will be exhibited during Miami Art Week and is a part of BitBasel's Lunar mission, sending digital artworks to the moon as a timeless message of care for our planet. This is going to be a little bit of an unusual episode. We're turning the mic over to Sandra Ponce de Leon of Refi-Tulum, who's one of the curators, to be the host. And she will be introducing all of the guests, co-founder of BitBasel Scarlett Aranared, and several of the participating artists, including myself. This is a larger conversation about ocean conservation and the length of humanity's reach. And you're going to find it absolutely fascinating. Let's jump right in.
Super honored to have you all together, all here today. This is really a portal that we're opening together, connecting art, connecting regeneration, and also cosmic consciousness. So the 1111, it symbolizes a mirror, as above, so below. And today's conversation bridges that mirror with the ocean and outer space, two of the vast realms that reflect one another's mysteries and beauty and interdependence. So we're excited to explore how creativity, how art can transcend these dimensions. And even, the lagoons, the waters of Tulum, the beautiful crystalline waters of Tulum, and how those can be transmitted to the surface of the moon, which is so exciting. Just a little bit about Refi-Tulum. We were born here as a regenerative hub in Mexico, in Tulum, and we are focused on bringing together community, ecology, and action, all accelerated through Web3 and innovation. So we run a lot of cleanups. I actually just came from a cleanup, another 1111 opening portal here in my neighborhood of Aldea Zama, which is beautiful. And so we do a lot of events like that, and we believe that Refi is a future to regenerate the planet because it's got so many advantages to it, and it's really just beginning. So we're excited to see how we can accelerate regeneration through the Web3 world, and art is a big part of that. And we recognize that because we have an artist in residency program, which was really the beginning of this whole initiative, and it began with one artist that came to us and wanted to support the positive, the planet positive work that we were doing, and decided that she wanted to give a portion of her NFT sales to Refi-Tulum. And so through that, we expanded on the program, loved the idea, and started to bring in more and more artists. So now we are, after that first resident artist, Shar, who is a Tulum-based artist and NFT artist, then we had the Fierce Feminine of Refi collection and collective, and that was 7 female artists based here in Tulum. Some of us with Web3 experience, some of us that were total newbies, and we went through a whole program of onboarding these women and creating a collection through Cello. We launched with the Cello Sphere Marketplace, and that was our first collection. From there, we moved into another collection featuring even more artists from around the world and also here locally. And that collection is called Arte Eterno. And we're really excited because that is actually part of the permanent collection of the Museum of Contemporary Art here in Quintana Roo in Cancun. So, we really feel that more and more digital art is having its place with contemporary, with modern art. And, we're happy to see that happening. And also BitBasel, our partner throughout this whole journey, is a huge, huge part of that. I'm excited to talk to Scarlett about that. And I'm going to bring her on the stage shortly. And now, the evolution of this artist in residency program has come to this new collection that's really based on ocean and the SDG 14 specifically, Life Below Water. And this is a collection that's going to be exhibited during Miami Art Week coming up and is part of BitBasel's Lunar mission, which is sending digital artworks to the moon as a timeless message of care for our planet. So I'm super, super excited for this conversation, excited to bring Scarlett up to the stage to talk about BitBasel, as well as we've got some special artists with us here today. Tanya Martinez, she's a Web3 artist and award-winning filmmaker who focuses on sustainability and social justice. And as well, Courtney Barriger is a best-selling author, and her mission on sustainability in fashion is reaching students at universities, the dressing room with her brand, Eco-Conscious Holding Court, and her upcoming children's book of literature, The Royal Robe, whose cover that's the artwork that's going to be going to the moon on this project. So super, super excited. And with that, I would love for Courtney and Tanya to just say a couple words about themselves, and then we can move on to the interview with Scarlett. But I just wanted to introduce my co-hosts, Courtney and Tanya. Welcome.
Hello, hello. I'm so happy to be here. Thank you for having me. But yeah, so first of all, protecting the oceans is just one of the top priorities that actually comes under sustainability and fashion. You would never believe, but every year the equivalent of 50 billion plastic bottles is sent into the ocean just with microfibers. And the chemical runoff that comes from textile mills and leather tanning facilities, it's just incredible what it's doing to the ocean as far as polluting. So being a part of this movement is incredibly important to me, and being able to do it with art is I think actually the way into the future, and we can definitely talk more about that. But thank you for giving me the floor.
Beautiful. Thank you, Courtney. So great to have you here. And I love your mission, and I can't wait to hear more about the Refashion Workshop and this upcoming book that you have. It's so beautiful. The artwork is so amazing. And now it's going to be on the moon for future civilizations to uncover years from now. And Tanya, welcome. Great to have you here as well.
Thank you. Can you hear me? Can you hear me? Oh,
Yes,
hi. I'm so honored to be here. Thank you so much. This is just such an amazing opportunity. Since the first time, Sandra, you introduced the blockchain to me. As you had said, I was a novice in the beginning, and it's just been such a fascinating journey to be introduced to crypto the way that you introduced it to me. I am a filmmaker, and I have actually been on a hiatus for a really long time just because of how the long form of documentary filmmaking doesn't necessarily breathe to me the way that I feel that all of these kind of interconnected action steps that you can do with Web3 art. And I'd love to discuss that today because it's just so fascinating to see how we can make a direct impact. Not that long form, isn't amazing. Of course, I love it, but it's just such another way to mix different mediums. And that's always kind of been my style in filmmaking. So thank you so much. And I'm so honored to be here.
Beautiful. Thank you so much. Thanks for joining us. And Scarlett, welcome. Thank you so much for being here. And you have been such a pioneer for the art movement, for our space, for the ocean, all of our favorite things. Please introduce yourself and tell us a little bit about BitBasel and the mission behind BitBasel.
Thank you so much. What a lovely audience. And this is one of my favorite subject matter. But before I introduce you, I would love to bring Beach Mama on the stage as well, as she and I are going to be talking a little bit more about the mission. So if she can do a request.
Beach Mama's already actually on stage. Hello, Beach Mama.
I'm here.
Okay.
I am here. Beach Mama is in the house.
I feel like this is the space that we all needed today, right? We just hit the reset button with each other and talk about these important topics, from the turquoise waters of Tulum to the far reaches of space. I'm just really inspired to be with you all today. And just congratulations on all the things you guys are creating and sharing and how we're tying into the blockchain and inspired and, really kind of like walking into this next, December with the fingerprints of humanity that's taking place, down at the Sagamore in South Beach. And I don't know if everybody's familiar with the historic Sagamore, but the first Art Basel was there in the gallery, right, Scarlett?
Yes, that's correct.
Yes. And so this is kind of a historic moment that physical digital art is now like part of that historic moment in time where Art Basel became so big here in Florida. And it's forever, every year we now have these incredible installations of physical digital art. And this year, just particularly, with Ocean Planet and astronaut Nicole Stott and the incredible astronaut wrangler Christina Korp. And they have and not only them, they've actually brought like a bunch of different space professionals, astronauts, people who are making incredible things. And I can only think of the best way is there's no such thing as STEM. It's always theme. And, and art makes us better and stronger and allows us to innovate in better ways. And it's actually an intricate part of how we've accomplished so much as humanity. So super excited to be here with you guys and just looking forward to seeing everybody. If you're not aware, right now, Ocean Planet is happening all the way through December 7th. So you don't have to wait to the first week of December, but you can go ahead now and be part of that. But we'd love to see you the 3rd through the 7th for sure during Miami Art Week. And you can go on to www.bitbasel.miami and get set up with your passes, as well as become a sponsor if you want to have a moment to contribute. So glad to be here.
Yeah, so that's a really good overview of what we're working on at BitBasel. But I'm going to talk a little bit more about Refi and our artists who are actually on the moon that we hand select as BitBasel. That's going to be digitally displayed at our gallery, and talk about a little bit of that project. And yes, we're bringing industry thought leaders in the space to kind of talk about the industry on the space tech side, why space, and why that has to do with ocean. And just to give a little bit of my background, so I'm actually the co-founder of BitBasel. We started back in 2020 during the midst of COVID. We saw that using a digital platform will allow people to lower their human footprints and to be part of these amazing initiatives. Miami, as you know, is known for these large art gallery. And during that time, we saw artists who are doing great work and, and kind of helping educate them about Web3 and learning the toolings that they need to be very successful. As a result, Miami has become that epicenter of adoption of these technologies. And we've been spearheading more on the blue tech and space tech initiatives to bring impact, more awareness, particularly to our oceans. And my technical background, actually, I used to work for NOAA. NOAA is like NASA, but for the ocean and atmospheric agencies. And what that means that we were studying data and to better understand what's happening to our oceans and how to better repair. As a result of this, I wanted to reach out to our artists because artists are the conduit to the story and messaging that the world really needs to create that global change. So for those who don't understand what Refi is, that's regenerative DeFi that allows the impact side of blockchain. So of course, Refi is a big component to BitBasel in order to create that initiative understanding of how to create impact using blockchain technology. In our case, is really empowering the artists and creators how to learn how to use these technologies and creating impact. So yeah, we have a very interesting story of how Sandra and I got together. We did several activations in Tulum with her on how to create impact. We did a call to action around the Sustainable Development Goals. The SDG is a framework that United Nations uses to help establish how to resolve the global goals by 2030. SDG 14 refers to life below water, and that has a rubrics of different initiatives of how to restore our ocean and the ecologies to that. So, and back in 2024, early on, we did a call to actions asking artists who are doing oceans conservation and awareness through the arts on the SDG 14, which is recognized by the United Nations, uh, and to have artists submit their artworks. As a result of this, we actually help these artists by elevating their provenance and preserving their artwork, this nano-pinch nickel disc. It's a data storage that physically imprints the art discs. The reason why we did this is one, it helps preserve the artwork so future generation understand what we discuss and talk. Two, it helps preserve the art and leave a legacy. Three, it's a global movement to kind of help unify the world. What really matters, and what matters is us, right? The preservation of us and our ecology. So when we asked a call to action for artists to submit artwork, we thought none but the Refi community as well from Tulum. These are artists who are doing great, amazing impact, but the world needs to hear it. And how do you do that? Well, to do that, we really need to first and foremost preserve the arts. You know, we want to make mutable technology so that's distributed through blockchain. So those who don't know what blockchain is a ledger distributed technology, and then access a way to distribute the data through the internet, and then this data can then be retrieved through the nanofinch nickel disk that we create as a data storage. So this is where it's a physical disk that you can actually see the artwork that is validated through a blockchain. And now this disk is actually going to be put as the payload on on the next moon lander called Astro Robotics that's scheduled June of next year. Astro Robotics is part of NASA. NASA is doing a survey on the moon because they actually discover water. How cool is that? And so this is part of the exploration methodology because they want to better understand the geology of the moon. So right now, we actually did this previously with our first mission through Intuitive Machine. And now we're going again for a second mission through Astrobotics to do another NASA survey. And we're just the payload to that. So many people have asked me, does it require a battery? No, it's an actual disk that you can actually see the art that is etched on that. The idea here is very simple, is to elevate the stories of these artists that can be told for generations to come. So that's really the idea. What better story is how artists are helping bring awareness to our oceans. This idea of, how can we help the next generation to better understand what is the call to action where everybody's to contribute through the arts and how bring more awareness. The ocean is very vast, and people don't understand that we actually live in an ocean planet. And as part of our exhibition, we actually brought a NASA astronaut, Nicole Stott. She's well globally known, and her gallery is about the ocean, just to show what's the purpose of bringing NASA to bring awareness to the ocean. And it's because what better way to understand our ocean but through the overview, right? So they see Earth for the very first time, and they see what's happening from the ecology standpoint of view, from up and above, because it has a better perspective what's really going on to our ocean. Through the arts to kind of help highlighting what's really going on to our ocean from a NASA perspective. These are the conversational speak that a lot of people don't understand the tie-in between the space tech and the blue tech ecosystem, meaning our oceans. Sometimes the ocean is so vast and so deep that we don't really fully see the effects. But art helps being the palatable entry point for many to understand how to be part of the action. So yes, this time capsule that we put on the moon is to help build out the story for future generations to come to be part of that initiative. So that's the direct impact. And this is something that is global. It's something that is being built out. And we will start the marketing campaign as soon as the second mission actually lands on the moon, which is scheduled in June of next year through Astrobotics. So these artists that Sandra selected as part of our art collective will be part of that initiative to be ambassador, the storyteller to this amazing global cause that people around the world can participate. Thanks to the internet, anybody could be part of the contributor, actionable contributor to bring more awareness. And a lot of people are asking about why Tulum. Tulum is actually ground zero for sea level rise. They're directly affected through the conditions of ocean, and so a lot of the initiative is a good ambassador to the world for even island nations who are also directly affected. So this is something that we at BitBasel are also trying to elevate those artists who have that big messaging side. And yeah, so we love to elevate those artists and kind of help tell that story. But the moon as a symbolic, which meaning it doesn't belong to any nation, is the unification of our own existence. And basically it allows us to say, if we can uh, have a higher consciousness and awareness to what's happening to our own planet, which is our ocean planet, we can then be more sensitive to our own environment as we live in what they call the closed ecosystem, meaning what happens one part of the world affects the other. And astronauts actually can see this from up above. They understand the ecology that affects our ocean. Our ocean wraps every continent of the earth. That's why there's a big initiative from both the Blue Tech, which is the ocean technology, and the space tech community to work in cohesive to address these matters. But they need artists, they need storytellers to help elevate what's really happening to our ocean through the arts by helping inspire other generations to create empathy. Empathy is a driving force to better understand our own ecology and help support those initiatives. So supporting the artists is a great avenue to be proactive as part of the solution and to these amazing initiatives that each artist is expressing through their works of art. And that's something I love to highlight and showcase at the BitBasel Gallery that are officially announcing this December. You know, we are going to give tickets to those audience who are participant in this X Spaces to be part of that and actually see. If you cannot be part of physically in December, we have the virtual platform that you could participate through a metaverse. This is a great way. We are a very believer in lowering the human footprint through the digital realm. And you can see a lot of these artists. So even if you can't physically be there, you can have a digital presence there. And that's the beauty of a lot of this technology, how to lower your human footprint as well. And you could definitely be a participant. We have created a digital twin of our gallery. So you could definitely check that out at BitBasel.Miami to be part of that digital twin. And you're going to see all these work of arts and artists who have been part of this BitBasel space time capsule that we're working online in. And also getting to meet a lot of the industry. So if you're interested in learning more about the ocean, we have ocean scientists, core biologists. We also have NASA astronauts, so you can learn a little bit more about the industry, what exactly they're doing, why is this big need to do the exploration side. But you have to understand it's really for the benefits of better understanding our own Earth. And I always like to say we live in spaceship Earth, which is true. We only have one, and let's make the best of that, as this is something that is a very important mission for our future generations to have a healthy planet, an ocean planet. So hopefully, if you have any question about the time capsule that's being put on the moon, definitely we'll have some more articles who are involved. How can you see these artworks be displayed? That's all going to be featured at BitBasel. And yes, and create more regenerative technology, which is the purpose of Refi, and help and elevate the conscious of our fellow man and our environment of what how can we use art as that conduit for storytelling and impact and technology. Yeah, so that's kind of like a little bit of
Thank you,
summary.
Scarlett. Oh, that was amazing, Scarlett. This is Tanya speaking again. And what really just resonated with me immediately, because I like to make this into a conversation, is how, when we think about artists, we always think of them kind of in this functional space of like products and like how they can serve. And yes, they're storytellers, and there's various different, types of artists. Let it be some that are more commercial artists or artists that are simply doing it for the love. But in its essence, one of the things that's missing is this regenerative part of the artist, the healing artist, right? The artist that actually is making art that is making an impact, and it spans across everywhere, because artists definitely try to find and squeeze a way to, bring heart to everything. But I'm really loving how you are highlighting how artists play a part in the in the message that we need to tell. And in that, it just brings like this ancient idea of how artists probably in Greek times and in, Egyptian and Mayan times were highlighted, right, as equal to, some of these other science roles. And somehow it got devalued somewhere, or it got commodified and trapped, right? And so that's the only thing we really have when things are hitting the fan, when we want to make large impacts. Artists have that ability to tell these messages when, you might not speak the same language. You may not understand, but you can see, right? And you can listen, and somehow that touches the soul. So yeah, no, I'm really thankful for that. And in terms of a question, that's something, how did you always, when you thought about bringing this together, is it to highlight the artist so that we can lead in this healing space? Did you think about that?
Yes, I'm a actually scientist, but also an artist myself in heart. When we talk about elevating the consciousness, and for a very long time, I've noticed that the art has been repressed, and that's something that I wanted to see that change. They say if you want to see it change the world, be the proactive person to do so. And I wanted to bring back the arts, because art is the one that's going to be the storytelling and the innovation that's needed. And, it was really working with other artists that made me realize that that's what really was lacking. The world's very fragmented, and we need some sort of unification way where we can elevate the human consciousness through storative and create more regenerative technology, to be more participant. And regenerative technology refers to be in harmony with technology and nature. I think there's disconnect between our society, like having more sensitivity and having more harmony with and using more renewable regenerative methodology that was lacking in the industry. And that had to do because of the lack of storytelling. Art is the depiction of storytelling, what needs to happen. But from my perspective, I saw the art, and this is globally. I don't know how this happened, but it has been often repressed. And it's and that's something I was wanted to bring it back. Like, why do we need art and STEAM, science, technology, education, art, and math? Because it allows the creativity side that is needed to create these new technology and tooling for for more the regenerative side of the technology. And I saw this, and now we're starting to see the importance of using these technologies in the sole purpose of creating impact. Like if we want to restore the ocean, how can we use this technology more ethically, right? And how do we bring to light? The problem with our ocean is that often ocean, especially if you're not near it, it's out of sight, out of mind. And the problem is there's a whole world in our ocean that is responsible for our own ecosystem. It's the provider of oxygen and the ecology of the fish ecology that a lot of people reside. The ocean also acts as a way to regulate the climate through conduction and currents, but it's heating up, which is more anthropogenic, meaning humans are causing that. Trash in the ocean is a human thing. And oftentimes, if you find plastic in the ocean, that was a human who put that there. And how do we stop that? Well, we have to fix our infrastructure on land. We have to stop putting trash in the ocean, first of all. And that's something that a lot of people are kind of indifferent. So how do you incentivize people to, be more consciousness of their own human footprint on that? For me, it's more important to protect what we have in this planet because we live on this planet. There's really no second planet as far as I know. So I'm using art to kind of bring more awareness why we have to protect our planet. So we're looking at it from both ways, from the ocean side and from the SpaceX side, because space allows us to see what's happening overview. And art is really going to be that messenger for our artists to bring more importance and bring more that regenerative toolings that our society really needs. Currently is very fragmented and, we need to bring more awareness. And I think art has been that. And, it's funny because I work with core biologists and we also have core biologists become artists as well by, bringing art and as part of to do more the core restoration side of things and just highlighting the importance of that. So art has really brought in communities together to create that impact and kind of help working with the scientists and actually doing the restoration work. It just happens to be that art is that storyteller that makes it more of the why. Why are we doing this? How are we going to do this? Where we're going to do this? And also for me, I find that art is a crucial part to more of the storytelling and impact for the regenerative and renewable ecosystem. That is what we're helping do. There's actually a whole community with the Refi. The solar punk community actually does this already, but we want more people to be more aware of like how can we use arts and should build more innovation. That's what Refi does, right? It's using the financial tooling to create incentives and financial vehicle where we start bringing the circular economy on this, and this will reward the artists as well and those communities who are helping support the artists. So, but it always starts with a simple discussion as to what it is that we're trying to help support. Something as big and vast as the ocean is not something that not one individual, one country can do. It really requires a global collaboration. And that's really where we're trying to highlight. How do you get us, to work more collaboratively, because it does require countries to work together to resolve some of these bigger impact work. And so, I've always felt the artist is that conduit that can be recognized globally to unify humanity together to work more in sync with our ecology and elevating that consciousness. But definitely, go ahead.
Yeah. No, I mean, I love everything that you said. It resonates with the mission that we have here at Refi-Tulum. And, really, I love the amplification of the artist as a storyteller, as that, really meaningful driver of change. And we really do believe that it is necessary to, have these reflections, these artists' reflections back to us about the reality of what's happening in our world. And some of the art that that was selected for the upcoming, collection and showing at BitBasel, has some of that, the Carla, who's not here with us today, but she's one of our guardians of nature here at Refi-Tulum. And she did some work with sea shepherds. She's just such a warrior, ocean warrior. And her piece is titled Whales or Gas. And it has, a big, ocean liner, taking trawler, or, transporting, a big ship transporting, gasoline. And it's like, when you think about that, like, wow, that's like, I'm driving my car, but where does that oil coming from? And there are these important messages, that I'm really thankful that, some of the artists that are here today, have reflected back in their art. And, I'd love to, have them, talk a little bit about their inspiration and specifically about their art piece. And I can also share some of those art pieces while we're here, if I can figure that out in the notes here. I'd also love to invite everyone that's here to retweet the space, to leave a comment. We are going to be giving a raffle prize. Scarlett, thank you so much. And BitBasel have generously offered to give a free pass, and correct me if I'm wrong, a free pass to the BitBasel event at the Sagamore. And you can give us the dates on that. And it's going to be a very exciting event during Art Basel. And yeah, there's just so much energy and action happening. And I'm just so excited for our artists to be able to share in that. We've got Ali down on stage as a listener, and also Courtney. I'm going to bring them both up. But Tanya, maybe you can share with us a little bit about your art piece and its meaning related to the SDG 14 and anything else you'd like to share with regards to your refi journey and regeneration in general.
Okay. Well, actually, I uploaded on my profile photo, the BitBasel Fierce Feminine and Refi that we did last year. And that was to me, I was so blown away just by the entire experience going to the BitBasel events at the Sagamore. I had no idea that had that much history. So knowing that I was in that space, and it felt like a new birth for me in my expression of art. And the piece that I did then was this kind of woman warrior coming through a stargate with two dragons at her side, because last year, it was the year of the dragon, first of all, and it was also a friend of mine passed away who had this tattooed dragon on her hand. And, yeah, and I mean, and I definitely was inspired and motivated by my friend Silk, because she was an artist herself. She was an amazing, amazing artist. So I had the opportunity to learn about regenerative finance and go through the entire journey and understanding how we can be able to not only make an impact, but in the process, every move we make, every touch point, there is currency happening. There is a flow that is able to happen. And, when you ask, well, what is regenerative finance for some of us? For me, it's like the sacred process of remembering wholeness. It's how God made our whole world perfect, in that there is no beginning and there's no end. It's simply a constant flow of change, of healing, of surrendering, of allowing, of growing, chaos, resistance, and then flow. And so my art explores that reconnection, because it's about cycles of death and rebirth, and being able to be in Tulum and seeing that constantly there, just this in the most chaotic way. Sometimes you really get to see the death and rebirth process, not only in yourself, because the waters really bring that emotion out in all of us. So when the moon rises or the tides are turning, at least the women of Tulum definitely feel the impact. And so it's, for me, I see how regeneration not only as a renewal of ecosystems, but also a renewal of spirit in all ways, how we love and create and coexist. So each piece I make is a visual prayer for that restoration.
It's quite amazing. Thank you.
That was beautiful, Tanya. Thank you so much for sharing. And your piece that is part of the Ocean collection. Let's see, where was it? What was it called? Hey, what was the name of your piece?
Well, it's called Lamar, but I mean, now I call it Lamar, but I know it had another name. But yeah, it's a piece. If I want to share that piece, this piece is very simplistic. It's very minimalistic. And I basically juxtaposed, I'm here in San Francisco. I'm a native San Francisco Bay Area person. And I took a picture of China Beach. It was just during sunset. It was an amazing moment. And I took that photo, and then with design and kind of graphic design, I was able to kind of juxtapose the moon. And the only thing that like seamlessly connects both is a snake, a serpent. And the serpent just came to me. It was just kind of this idea of like, and I didn't really kind of do the research, but then I did go back and find out that it actually is true that the serpent was one of the first species on Earth, right? Like it was like all the way back to the beginning. And that's why it's always honored in all of our different traditions, right? If you look at the serpent, it always plays a part in every history and every story that's told, from the Bible to, or, from Christianity to Mayan or Incan history. So I wanted to like represent us. And I know, I was like, oh, we're going to be in the moon. And I'm like, oh, like, I know we should probably put a form of humanity, but I was like, the serpent represents knowledge, the collective consciousness or the knowledge of Earth and humanity. If we love it or hate it, it does provide that symbol. So I wanted to just create this juxtaposition. So hearing Scarlett say that the moon has water, if you see my design, it actually has like pools of water on the moon, and then but it's actually that same photo. It's just kind of, designed in a way where it looks like the moon. So it's the same exact photo, but I was able to kind of, tweak it and transform it. So yeah, so that's my piece.
Beautiful, beautiful. And I actually that was news to me, Scarlett. Where have I been that there's some water discovery on the moon?
Yeah, I think
Wow.
that's very important because that's part of like the exploration side. So they did discover the south side of the moon has water. It's frozen water. And so that's part of the survey expedition of Artemis. So that's a NASA, and that's why they're going back. But more importantly, the moon again is a very holy place. So we're very respectful for all cultures. It's a unification of all of humanity. It doesn't belong to anybody. We're very respectful for those culture as well that sees the moon as very holy. So we have been talking to indigenous tribes and asking for permission as well because we understand that part of the ecology.
Incredible. Yeah, that's amazing, amazing, amazing news. And I think it could, have implications, that are very, very interesting. So okay, here we go. Okay, Courtney, sorry, did you want to say something?
Oh, we have the Earth copies as well, so you can actually see all the artists who were selected. So what that means is that we made another copy, one that's going to go on the next mission, but the Earth copy that includes the Refi-Tulum artists here, and it's going to be displayed at our events, so people can actually see it and and better understand the technology. It's actually very small because we want to lower our human footprint because we all also understand on that. But I think it's very important that preserving those artwork for future generation is equally important because these are all the storytelling that's needed to see changes that we're already starting to see. And again, Miami is very similar to Tulum. We have the third largest coral reef system And so it's a huge part of it's denting the oceans, of course. And these messaging has creating more awareness and through the arts, it's been a way for more people to engage the refi community as well. So I've seen firsthand how this is really changing the artists' lives and also getting the community more engaged and learning about the impact side.
Beautiful. Thank you. So we have some new people joining us and some new people that have requested to come up on stage. I just want to get through the artists that are being highlighted and going to be part of this upcoming collection so that they can share about their art. And this is a 90-minute space. So we are going until 1:30 Eastern Standard Time. Scarlett, I know you are a very busy woman and you can stay with us as long as you like. All of your everything that's going on in Miami, the Miami-Tulum connection, the ocean, the space. I mean, all of your incredible wisdom from your background in space and technology. Love to keep you here and part of the conversation, but I do understand if you need to leave us. We are going to be open for the next 36 minutes, it looks like. And so I'd love to now bring up Courtney. Courtney is an incredible author, award-winning author, the author of the Refashion Workshop, and also now in the process of, or I think is the book finished? The Royal Robe is a children's book to educate children on the importance of being conscious in our fashion and being conscious in our purchase decisions. So, Courtney, welcome to the stage, and it's so great to have you here.
Thank you, Sandra, and thank you, Scarlett, for everything that you're doing in this space. I'm in awe, I have to say. Like, some of it goes beyond me with the NFTs. Sometimes, like, how does that really work? But honestly, it's like you said, art and storytelling really are it's the space that moves the heart. It's the space where I think people they have an instinctual feeling that awakens them, that it's harder to reach that in, let's say, academia. So I've been working in sustainable fashion for now, it's been 13 years. And about 10 years ago, I went to Indonesia on a trip and I stopped by a couple of different places that were, there was a lot of activists that were saying that the dirtiest river in the world is the Citarum River. So I went to go see it for myself. And yeah, on the edge of the river are all of the factories that dye synthetic fibers, and pouring into the water was green and blue and purple and red and just making this like crazy mixture. And after speaking to the people that live there, and they're covered in blisters, and this is a river that's a lifeline to people that are really, the very kind of lowest of poverty levels. And they used to bathe their babies in the water, and they used to even drink the water, but now they can't even swim in the water. So I know it's pretty sad. So after seeing this, I was living in California at the time. I went back, and the story of the Royal Robe just kind of just burst into my mind when I was sitting at the Pacific Ocean. So it's like this. The way that we can reach people is, I believe, it's through stories. And so this is a book for children, and it's a fairy tale, kind of a modern fairy tale. And really it tracks the story of a king who has died, and his daughter is going to become the queen, but she doesn't know how to take on that responsibility. So she ends up putting out this bogus quest for the royal robe. So she says, okay, anyone who can find me this coronation robe, I will give them a lifetime of prosperity. But she has absolutely no intention of choosing one. She's just trying to put off responsibility. And the story then is picked up by this 13-year-old girl who takes on the quest. And as she goes along, she goes to where they create fossil fuel, polyester, and she says, oh man, a queen would not wear this. And then she goes to where they make leather, and she says, oh, she would not wear this either. So it's this kind of simple, trial type of fairy tale where kids really get to see the environmental impact of fast fashion. And also, I should mention that the river in this story is Rainbow. And you end up finding out that it's the river that actually gets the king sick, and it's the river that's causing the problems for everyone in the kingdom. So that's why I feel so honored that the cover of this book was chosen to go to the moon, because it so perfectly brings together this calling that I have as well to make sure that the next generation knows what we're doing. I mean, it's insane. The fashion industry is the second biggest polluting industry for the oceans and for water, right after agriculture. So it's not something that we really think about. It's not something that we really notice, because it's microfibers, it's invisible. Polyester contains BPAs, which we know is a hormone disruptor. Azo dyes, they are highly carcinogenic. They're carcinogens. And leather, heavy metals. I mean, all of this goes into the rivers and then goes into the ocean. So it is an environmental catastrophe. And so it's my mission, at this time of my life, to make sure everyone knows about it and to bring this to the children, especially so that they can say to themselves, oh, well, what's that? A queen wouldn't wear that polyester shirt. No, I'm good. Thank you. What are the options? And yeah, so that's it. And the cover of the book itself, it's a young girl, and she's dipped into a rainbow river about up to her nose. And it's very it has this never ending story kind of feel to it. Dark skies, moons, trees that are stripped of leaves. So yeah, but it is such an honor to be a part of this. And I really hope that, it's just like Scarlett was saying, it's an opportunity for the artists who have a mission and a passion to be able to bring that forward and have a stage. So I'm super, super grateful to have this insane platform and also take it to the moon.
That's so exciting. And I love the premise of your book. It's so cute. And the fact that it's Rainbow River, but then that's the thing that's toxic. Wow.
Yeah, the thing is, sometimes the most beautiful things are actually the most deadly. It's not, especially in today's culture where we're obsessed with perfection and things that are shiny. It's actually kind of a warning wrapped into that things can be devastatingly beautiful.
And bad. Yes. Devastatingly.
Yeah. In bad.
Beautiful.
Yeah. In a bad way.
Amazing. And it is true. I mean, it's so easy for us to have zero consciousness about the things that we're buying, or purchasing them because they've got a good price, or we don't even think about the fabrics and the fact that our skin is the largest organ in our body and soaking up the things, as I'm wearing spandex right now, pants, because I just came from a cleanup run. But yeah. I mean, that stuff is soaking into your skin. We don't even realize that that's what's happening. And when we just go and purchase something for, a really cheap price, what was the human toll that went into that, and what continues to be the human toll and impact of that, of purchasing that, $5 shirt from H&M, which I have a few, unfortunately.
I know. That's the problem, is that it's, when it's so inexpensive and it's available. Look, we have, 8 billion people on the planet, so we have to clothe them with something. And it's really cool, though. I'm actually working with a team that is essentially working against desertification in Africa. And we're going to 6 different countries to purposefully plant drought-resistant plants that are actually also fibrous. So hemp, sorghum, we're looking at cassava. All of these are also edible plants. So it's actually, I think that fibers, there's a really good chance that we can really change things for the better on so many levels if we do this smart and if we do this right.
Beautiful. And it's great to hear about the reforestation efforts and looking at these alternative materials. That actually gave me an opportunity to give a little plug for Refi-Tulum. And, Refi-Tulum is really all about taking positive action for the planet and using using the blockchain to accelerate those actions, to increase those actions, to reward those actions, to increase and accelerate innovation in the space. And we have recently been doing some tree plantings. We have an upcoming beautiful event that's coming up. We're actually partnered with Jimmy Cohen, who is the world record champion of planting trees. He's planted more than 30,000 trees in a 24-hour period. And he is coming here to Tulum. We're so excited to have him. We're going to be having the second edition of our Refi Horizons event. It's going to be from November 21st to the 24th. So if anyone here is interested, would like to learn more, we have been evolving our events. We've been doing a lot of impact events where we've been doing cleanups in the beaches, the ocean, our UNESCO World Heritage Site, Shankan, Tulum, cenotes, and now we've been expanding that to really, want to talk more about the issues that are impacting our communities and make it an educational event where we can collaborate, where we can bring these different forces, local grassroots community organizations with global organizations, with Refi movement, and come together in a way that is sharing and taking part in experiences together. So we've got this event coming up. We're really excited about it. It's going to be in Bacalar, which is a beautiful place here in the Yucatan, and it's called it's the Lagoon of Seven Colors. So if anyone here is interested in learning more and would like to attend, participate, sponsor, please reach out. We are open to that, and I'm getting very excited because it is coming up. So I've been trying to also bring up another artist, part of our collection, and I don't know if she's having issues there, but Ali, I'm inviting you to come up to the space. In the meantime, Tanya, I see you have your mic open. Did you want to add a few words?
Oh, I didn't realize my mic was open. Well, actually, I just invited some others, hopefully, to talk about how it was the experience from last year's cohort of Moon experiences. Maybe Scarlett can share a little bit about what that would look like for us.
Hello?
The event. Yes, like maybe the events that are happening in Miami or what we are.
Oh, absolutely.
Hello?
Sorry, I'm having. Can you hear me?
Yes,
No.
Ali, one moment. Let's hear from Charlotte, and then I will bring it over to you, Ali. So just put yourself on mute for now,
Okay.
and I'll call you up in a moment.
So, of course, last year at BitBasel, we did a whole ocean day. We actually brought artists and featured them. We even brought mermaids, an actual ocean biologist was featured, all as a build-up to these great initiatives. So oftentimes when you go to BitBasel, what you're going to see is that intersection between art, tech, and culture, artists who are doing impact. And we definitely highlight those artists who are doing those global changes through their artwork in their community. So that's something that we definitely highlight. And these are all stepping stones that we first help educate people about the technology, and then also helps them understand how you can help support these artists who have a messaging. And so this year, from December 3rd to the 7th, you can be part of that. We are December 4th, which is going to be on a full moon. We're doing that ocean and moon party. And so it's all about the ocean. And of course, we're bringing the NASA astronaut to be that storyteller to kind of talk about the technology and those artists and feature them and highlight. We do have the Earth copy this from all the Refi-Tulum who submitted and got selected to kind of help talk about the technology. So you have an opportunity to actually see the Earth copy. There's two copies. One that's the payload that's scheduled to launch next year, and the one that we are going to highlight and talk about the technology side. So how we preserving the artwork. So yeah, so if you want to be part of the Ocean Planet events, which is going to be highlighting all the Refi-Tulum artists, check us out. I'm going to post the link below. We are giving free GA tickets for everybody here who are listening in and who's listening into to this space, and please share. We will have a metaverse version as well. Yeah, so there's a lot happening at the same time. I also have my V5 Media personnel partner in crime, Walter, who's also helping broadcast this through the Web3 community as well. And he's going to make sure that what happens in Miami doesn't stay in Miami. And then we want the world to hear. So everybody from Tulum to the world, right? And elevating these amazing projects. This is not a one-off campaign. This is a build-up. What that means is that all the artists selected is part of a bigger campaign that is part of the United Nations that we're addressing the SDGs, the Sustainable Development Goals 14. So that's kind of like what we did last year, elevating those artists, featuring them, bringing the thought leaders to the space, creating panel talks and awareness, and featuring all the artwork, whether it's physical and digital, and of course, and a different activation. So yeah, more to that. I don't want to spoil it too much for the moon party, but it's definitely going to be very big and very exciting. Kind of highlight the immersive technology as well. We definitely going to have holograms and projected mapping, digital twin, both physical and the digital. So that's always exciting. I love it. And kind of talk about some highlighting the artists who are using immersive technology as well. That's part of Refi. And kind of showing how these artists using regenerative DeFi to help support those community and be part of those community, because that's really what helps these artists. So a little bit more on that as
Beautiful.
well.
Beautiful. Yeah, it's so exciting. I'm definitely going to try to make it out there. I think that we've been, this is our third year now working together. I had one of my pieces at a display, at the BitBasel display, I think 3 years ago at Art Basel. And it's been a beautiful relationship moving forward now, being able to collaborate with all these artists. And I just want to say that because, there may be some artists out there in the space that, want to be part of this. It's not, this is going to be something that's ongoing. BitBasel and Refi-Tulum are, we're kind of like married at this point. We've been going out for a while. That's pretty cool. But yeah, so we are at 111, magic numbers, 1111, 111, beautiful space. And I also wanted to invite, and we have a couple more artists that have just joined us recently, Ali, and I'm going to bring Ona up to the stage as well. And they have their art pieces. I'd love, Ali, would you tell us about the art piece that you made and the significance, and, tell us a little bit about, your journey as an artist and guardian of nature.
Wait, hold on one quick second before we just continue. If you are hearing any static, little troubleshooting, you can just refresh your feed. You may have to kind of jump on again, but it really does clear up any static that you might be experiencing.
Thank you, Tanya. Ali.
Hello, everybody.
Hello.
Thank you for being here. And I want to say first and nothing, thank you, Sandra. Thank you, everyone who is doing this amazing work for the conscience around the water and the environment. It's so important for me. Since I was a kid, I understand that this world, it's something different that where I used to live before this life. So I knew since I was a kid that I need to do work here to help this beautiful Gaia sphere to get into the next level of evolution. And all these projects, all these beautiful people that I've been knowing in my path, it's part of this amazing plan of regeneration. And I've been an active member of Refi-Tulum and BitBasel and all of our projects around regeneration. So I believe that we have all these technologies that we are in the perfect moment to put all the work together and make a change. I want to talk about my art, and in my digital, it's a digital collage with a mirror effect. So in the picture that is in the base, it's like water, but it's polluted water, and I know it looks like a little bit psychedelic, but it's actually the water polluted. And it talks about petroleum, it talks about microplastic, it talks about reuse, recycle, reduce. It talks about how the turtles and the marine life, it's eating the plastics, and how it's everything, like if the water is polluted, everything around is polluted. So also it talks about the ajolotes, that they're like this species that it's in danger of extinction, and it's so beautiful. So I just wanna make also like a prayer through these art, so the people who can see it can just instantly make connection and awareness around all the things that is happening with petroleum and the pollution that creates, and also want to change all of that with regenerative energy, like clean energy. Because if we change to clean energy, we can change everything. We can have food for everybody. We are not going to have poverty anymore. So yeah, basically it's that. And thank you so much, everyone. Sorry for my English, but I want to say I love everyone here, and thank you for all your art, guys. Thank you.
Oh, Allie, thank you so much. And I love your art. It's so creative and it weaves together so many of the messages that we need to see, both the ugly as well as the hopeful, into, really impactful pieces. And I love that you're, one of our guardians of nature and warriors. And I see a few other from our community here. Thank you all for being here. And on Steph coming in from, I don't know where you are, but I'm also trying to get Ona up on stage I know she only has a short period of time. She's at the beginning of the space. We talked about how there's 1111 is a huge portal here, and there actually is something really beautiful that's happening. There's a healing happening of a cenote that was used for, parties and, raves. And so as you can imagine, one of the things that they've found in the waters here not that long ago is that there was cocaine, in the waters of the cenotes, and from, the partiers that come through Tulum and, are using these waters, and their wastes are going into these waters. So we are, drugging ourselves. But yeah, so, Ona has been doing a healing, and she's a beautiful artist, a visual artist, a singer, and she also does healing water therapies, and she's amazing. I really want to have her voice up here, but I think she may be having some technical issues. So let me see what's going on here with Miss Steph. Are you still there? Are you still able to join us to speak and say hi? And I see DeFi. Would you like to join our conversation, DeFi? Welcome to the stage.
Oh, thank you very much. I really appreciate that a lot. My name is Gus, actually. I'm under the DeFi Media account. It's a very big, good privilege to be here. You know, Scott and Scarlett had been amazing. BitBasel have been amazing. This space has been amazing. One of the things that I really like is what we kind of do is connect people. And what I find amazing here is that, you know, a lot of people have a lot of interest claiming, oh, you know, we should protect the ocean, not space. And, oh, you know, and space is more important because we want to explore. I think the thing that relates us all is that human condition. I think that from the depths of the ocean to the heights of space, us living in the middle here on this land, on this planet, has connected us. And I think the artists here are doing something incredible. I think you're doing something incredible, Refi-Tulum, by the way. BitBasel's doing something incredible. Courtney, incredible book. I've seen it right now. I haven't had a chance to go through it. Stoic art coming in as well and being able to present. The thing that connects us all is that we all want to create, help, and participate. We all want to do our piece of good for the things that we believe in. But when we all connect on here and realize that we all have, in a sense, the same goal, is that we want to all connect with our art, whether it be digital or online, in the real world, the visual, just pictures of our family even. You know, it makes that connection for the human condition really come out here and figure, hey, we all living on this planet. And whether we have dreams of going into space or traveling to the depths of the ocean, we want to express ourselves and make sure that as humans, we evolve and connect. So that's what I find incredible about what Scarlett is doing with BitBasel, from the digital to the real world. We get there and we get a chance to meet everybody and connect. And that's what I love about doing what we do here at DeFi Media. It gives us a privilege to connect and hear people's stories and then get those stories out there and realize we're all just the same. We're all living on this planet. We all want to do our piece of good for this planet, you know. It's hard to think globally at times. So we think very locally and we focus on the things that we can preserve in front of our eyes. But we all get together and we get on these spaces or we go to events. We realize we're all similar and we're all building out here to create our art, our vision, our life, and to do better on this planet. So it's been a privilege to be here. And I really hope everybody comes out to BitBasel. It would be a privilege to meet everybody. What Scarlett and Scott have built has only been growing, only going up. And what's so important about being on these spaces and being on digital that separates the reality of actually the ocean or the space is that we all get to unify here from every part of the world and combine our resources together. People used to be a point where it'd be like, oh, there's only like one or two people who might believe or share the same idea. But here we are connecting. We find out that it's not just one or two people. It's thousands to millions of people who actually have the same goal to create, to express ourselves. And I find so much beauty in what everybody's done here. So thank you very much for having me out here. Scarlett's incredible. I can't wait to be at BitBasel. Guys, if you have not had your chance, and she's giving people free tickets here. Come on. Come by 3 to the 7th. Come interact with us. Come talk. See everybody that's out there presenting. Don't chase away those billionaire investors that wrote books or these stars or celebrities get out here. They have means. They have audiences. And when you really get a chance to connect with these people, you're going to get in front of eyes. You're going to find your other people that connect. And you're going to have the ability to proliferate what you believe in or your little slice of belief in a greater stage, in a greater world. So it's so wonderful to be here. Thank you very much, Refi-Tulum, for giving me just a few minutes to talk. I just want to say what great work everybody's doing here, and it's a privilege to listen to everybody. Again, you guys got to come out to BitBasel. It's going to be incredible. Miami is a super, super interesting, exciting place to be. And, you know, I know we're all worried and concerned about this earth and what we're believing in, but every once in a while, like we say, it's good to out in the space, it's good to touch some grass, get out of there and enjoy yourselves. Because at the end of the day, what's the point if we're not enjoying ourselves, connecting with other humans, you know, and having a smile on our face? So I appreciate what everybody's doing out here, what they're doing for this planet, what they're doing to conserve and to just make people better in this space and connect. So thank you very much again. And thanks a lot, Scarlett. I love what you do.
Thank you. Hey, Gus. So nice to meet you. And yeah, I do look forward to meeting you in person when that opportunity arrives. And hopefully it will be very soon here. So I see that we are, okay, here we go. Steph, hello. Welcome. We only have about
Hello.
Where are you?
What a treat. What a treat. I am back in the same time zone-ish. I'm so happy to be here again. I was the last 6 months in Asia, so it was really hard to coordinate times. It was totally different times. But yeah, it's super exciting to be back in the American continent. I'm in Buenos Aires right now, so it's a lot easier for the connection and the time. And I'm super happy to be here and to hear you all talk and to know that it's a beautiful mission that we are all joining and getting into these efforts together to use art and technology to protect our waters. And I was blessed to be one of the first artists in the first mission to put our messages in the moon and to be able to give a little code that can go to this huge, powerful entity that controls all the waters on the planet. So we are putting these messages and these beautiful hope and codes to transform the way that all the currencies move and how we can really unite for this mission. And it's totally connected, the space, the water, and all of this technology and the whole internet and intergalactic connection for this purpose, for getting a new world with real values that connect artists, that connect creators to this new life, to this economy, and to these systems that are integrating solutions. For the ones that don't know me, I'm also part of Refi-Tulum for a long time, and we've been working to put podcasts in different places as well. I'm super excited with all the expansion that we're having the last years and the people that is joining, and to be able to have more of my sisters now also sending things to the moon and to have their beautiful art in there and sharing this beautiful mission.
Absolutely. Thank you. Thank you, Steph. So great to have you join us. And I also know that I see that Ona, we're coming up on our time here, and Ona is coming off of a beautiful
Hey, I love you,
healing
Anna.
ceremony of the cenote. Ona, welcome. We only have 3 minutes, but please introduce yourself, talk a little bit about your art and what you've been doing. And for those of us that can stay a little bit longer, we can go another 5 minutes, but I do want to be respectful of everyone's times, but there's so much to cover here and so many amazing people. So Ona, welcome to the stage.
Thank you so much. Hi, everyone. Yes, actually, I am right. I mean, I'm just connecting to you right now from a beautiful cenote in La Riviera Maya near Tulum in Mexico. And we are having a ceremony for the water, actually for all the elements, but especially for the water, and also really wanting to devote ourselves towards supporting the waters around Tulum and around Bacalar. So this is a beautiful, beautiful opportunity for me to speak with gratitude towards the event of BitBasel Refi-Tulum united, with the Artists for Impacts circle that we are growing and growing. And like Steph mentioned before, she has sent art to the moon already, and now we are more and more sisters who unite in our hearts and also in our actions towards seeding great things in different places. I'm so honored. I have created an image that it's a combination of a painting and digital art, which is showcasing a woman in a deep embrace with a fish, in fact, underwater. And there's also this kind of insinuation of her having tears coming down her face, or at least in a very subtle way if one really looks at it. And at the same time, it's not only tears of sadness, it's tears of empathy. It's an embrace of empathy. So for me, if I can say anything, I hope to be able to say, if we can send art to the moon, may it bring us closer to the earth. May it inspire us to take care even more of the earth, and to really remember that as much as it is possible to send art to the moon, anything is possible if we feel that we want to take care of what is here on the earth, basically to understand the limitlessness. It's just like the space and the ventures into space are kind of a symbol of limitlessness. And I feel so grateful to be able to see all of you here. I'm sure I would like to connect with some of you later on in another moment. Feel free to contact me. I hope I can make it to BitBasel in Miami myself in person for sure. I'm so endlessly grateful for Sandra, who is just an incredible example of everybody, of course, in the circle is an incredible example. However, I feel like she has just been leading the way in so many beautiful steps. And on the 22nd, from all I know, the Horizons event that is coming up is another wonderful example of what Sandra is doing here, planting together with the tree gems mangroves, manglares, and like really taking care of the expansion of regeneration, and as in finance as well as on like in the soil and in the water. So thank you so much everyone for giving me this chance to speak. And I know it's fast and short, but with all my heart and gratitude. Thank you so much. I hope you will come and check out my X profile and see what I will post, and you can see the art in a smaller version. Much love to you.
Oh, Nash. So beautiful. I knew your words were going to be so impactful. Thank you so much. And it's such an honor to, be your sister and to, be on this path with you and create this art with you together, inspired with everyone here on stage. I'm so incredibly inspired and thankful and grateful to have, all of these beautiful artists and storytellers, with me and giving us all power and wings to keep on moving this movement forward. I just want to, say a couple more announcements before we end. Thank you so much to Scarlett and the offer of a free ticket to BitBasel. I'll be posting the link with the code for that general admission ticket. I will also be posting a link to all the artists' artwork, the ones that are available. Oh, now you mind muting yourself, please? 1 second. Okay, perfect. And I'll be posting all the artwork. I know everyone got to speak about their art, but you may have not have seen it, but I will be sharing highlights of all the artists' artwork. And yeah, just super excited to continue this journey to the moon. And again, thank you so much, Scarlett and Scott with BitBasel. Thank you, Tanya. Thank you, Steph, for stopping by. Can't wait to hear more of what's been happening in your world, Ona, and thank you for blessing the waters like you do, and Ali as well for your beautiful magic, Courtney, and everyone that's here. Really appreciate you all. It's been such a wonderful conversation. And since we are at 1:32, I'm going to go ahead and end it there. But it's been really lovely to reconnect with all of you. And I think we'll be having more of these, right? Maybe I don't know if we're going to have one before BitBasel, but since we have until June, I think that there's, endless opportunities to highlight these incredible voices and these incredible artists. So yes, thank you all for joining us, and please be sure to follow Refi-Tulum and keep up with what we are up to here in Tulum on the ground. Thank you all. And thank you for the sound effects. That's
amazing.
Yes. Ciao, everybody.
I love you, Sandra.
Much
Thank
love.
you for your
Bye-bye.
You're the best.
Thank
you, Sandra.
Ciao.
A huge thank you to Sandra, Scarlett, Tanya, Ona, and more for their contributions to this incredibly inspiring project by BitBasel and Refi-Tulum, sending artwork to the moon. Okay, I'm going to keep you guys up to date as we get closer to the shuttle launch. And while you're at it, go ahead and visit the art gallery disc at the Sagamore Hotel during Art Basel if you happen to be in Miami. Thanks for listening, and that's a wrap.
This is Judy from Cleveland. DS Now is a Holding Court production, written and directed by Courtney Barringer, music by Parker Ainsworth, and a special thank you to Alexandra Shuck.